Welcome to another FAQ Monday where I answer your burning questions. And as always, if you have a question, just simply leave it down below in the comment section and you may end up on a future video. Pretty cool. First question. What, if any, was the piece of gear that you fell head over heels for once you got it and it really inspired and motivated you to play so much that you're playing truly or even drastically improved because of it? For me, I think the first thing that would come to mind would be the Kemper profiling amp. That was pretty huge for me. At the time, I've had it for almost 2 years now, and at the time, you really wanted to believe the hype, but nobody had one yet, and it was really a matter of just taking the plunge. And when I plugged it in and I strummed a chord, I laughed for a solid 5 minutes. I'm not even kidding. I sat there and laughed because I thought, wow, we are finally there in the digital age that this feels so close to a real amp. I could mix these guitar tracks in a mix and you would never ever know, and it was just astounding to me. And as a result of that, I played and wrote so many songs instantly, and I still use it to write, and I use it every single day. You don't really see it in a lot of videos these days. However, I do write with it. It is I couldn't live without it.
Hey Fluff, do you think new bands now, specifically metal bands, overly edit their records to a point that it sounds ultra fake and their instruments don't sound like an actual instrument anymore? I'd like to know your opinion on that.
Yes, I do think in the metal genre, things are too perfect and too quantized. Everything is matched to the grid and so dead on, and it sounds like computers playing, and I am not from that school. I am from the school of playing it as tight as you can and laying it down and then not doing anything with it after that, because you know what, if it screwed up, well, you should have caught it in tracking and things should be a little messed up. The perfect example of this would be the Every Time I Die record, X Lives, which is by far my favorite record from them, but that perfectly illustrates how I think a record should be recorded. You can hear the hum of the amp when they stop for a second. You can hear in the very beginning of a song, you can hear you know, the drummer picking up a drumstick, and I love that. We're human, and things shouldn't line up perfectly. That's just my opinion, and that's why I am not super technical in playing periphery covers on my YouTube channel, because I'm not that kind of player. I am all about feel and technique second, obviously, and a lot of people hate me all day long calling me a crappy guitarist or whatever, and it's all about the feel, man. That's it.
Was there anyone in particular that motivated or inspired you to begin with YouTube, gear demos, and video editing?
Yes, there are two things that inspired me to start posting videos on YouTube. The first was I was shopping for an overdrive pedal, and I don't know the exact year. I think it was 2009, 2010, and I saw the Tone King, and I've told him this story, so you're not finding out anything new. He knows the story. I've told him. And he wasn't miking anything at the time. He hadn't gotten to that point yet. He'd only been around for like a year or so. And I really wanted to know how this certain overdrive pedal sounded, and it was just camera audio. And I remember being really upset by that. And I thought, I am going to mic stuff up as if, you know, I had a home studio and I want to know what it sounds like under a mic. I wanted to know. And he mics stuff now, and me and him had a good laugh over that story. But the second thing was forum arguments. Forum arguments are some of the dumbest forms of expression you will ever see, and back on this particular forum, I think it was the Boogie Board back in the day, there was an argument over the differences between an Audix i5 and a Shure SM57, but no one had actually tried them both side by side. They were like going off the literature or something, and I thought, well, I can throw up I can go buy the mics and shouldn't be that hard, even though it turned out to be super hard for the first time I'd ever done anything. And it's still on my YouTube channel. It's like the second video I ever posted of the Audix i5 versus the SM57. It's still one of my most popular videos today. And so that was what got me started, and it was only after I started posting where I came across Ola, England, and things like that, but I was totally unaware of those kinds of videos when I started posting them.
What was Black Metal Bicycle, actually? What about the history of it? You have to explain it on your FAQ Mondays, maybe.
Black Metal Bicycle is just the name I gave the music that I initially started putting out when I first started recording at home. It's kind of like Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails kind of a thing. Like, you need something to call it. You just can't call it Ryan Bruce because that sounds ridiculously lame to me. And the third Cancer Bats record had come out, and one of my favorite songs off that record was called Black Metal Bicycle. And Liam, the singer, actually has a black bicycle, but I read it as like a guy getting on his corpse paint and then having to ride his bike to practice. And I thought that was a hilarious concept. And that's always how I read that name. And it was always kind of just taking the piss out of the seriousness of stuff. And I think it's pretty evident that I don't take myself too seriously. And I think that's really important. And I always wanted to convey that. And so Black Metal Bicycle it was. And it was only years later where I actually became friends with the Cancer Bats. And Scott, the guitarist, a good friend of mine, was like, hey man, why do you call your stuff Black Metal Bicycle? That's a song of ours. So I'm like, yeah, I actually stole it from you. Sorry.
Hey Fluff, do you find yourself playing a certain way depending on the guitar you're using for no reason at all? I find myself playing a completely different way when I play my Fender Strat of that compared to my Ibanez. Thanks, Jordan. Love your vids, BTW.
Absolutely. That's what guitars are for. Certain guitars will have certain songs in them, and other guitars will have other songs in them. When I play my 77 Gibson RD, I play super chuggy down style riffs, and when I play my black Schecter baritone, I just go for the super metal as much as possible. When I play the ESP Ben Wyman guitar, I play more cloud kickery kind of songs. It just depends. And guitars really are the paintbrushes of a guitarist. And I love that. I feel the same way about amps too.
Would it be possible to show us guitar nuts everything you would need to get started recording?
Well, that is entirely dependent on what kind of recording you want to do. If you're like me and are primarily a guitarist, you basically, in simple terms, you need a computer, you need an interface and to plug your guitar into, and maybe your microphone to mic up a cab, and that will get you started. Good speakers or monitors are definitely a good thing. Entry-level monitors, I started out on M-Audio AV40s, which are like $100 a pair or something. There will be a future video on how to start home recording for cheap, what to spend your money on, and what not to spend your money on when I get time. I am extremely busy, but that video will come soon along with a reamp video that everyone is writing me and asking me to make. So there you go. At any rate, that wraps up this week's FAQ Monday. Again, if you have a question, please leave them down below in the description or my AskFM account if you want to do it anonymously. And as always, I am Fluff, and I thank you for watching. See you next time.